When the British government announced the possibility of rolling back on previous commitments surrounding the protocol, it directly undermined not only the political stability in the North but also Northern Ireland's economy, at a time when we should be focused on getting the institutions back up and running and growing the island's economy. I've heard the word trust here mentioned repeatedly. Trust is a precarious thing. It's not earned. It is earned. It is not a given. Unilateralism directly undermines trust. Diminished trust and faith in our UK counterparts only serves to impinge potential progress on a breakthrough or a potential solution. And we have to acknowledge here that there are, of course, genuine concerns around the protocol, and we all need to challenge ourselves here to come up with innovative solutions within the overarching protocol agreement at finding workable, common-sense solutions. Pragmatism must win here. Common sense solutions must be sought out. Unilateral action does not contribute to solutions. Here in Ireland, we are lucky that our EU counterparts have stood by us in our dealings with the protocol and its implementation. Vice President Šefčovič has indicated that he and his team are ready to deal with the UK at any time. He has indicated that he is open to discussing solutions, and he stated that he sees further potential in exploring further flexibilities around trade, customs, SPS arrangements, for example. A joint EU-UK solution is the only resolution to this impasse, particularly in the areas around trade, but also to protect the Good Friday Agreement and its institutions. The protocol itself clearly recognises the constitutional position of Northern Ireland and the principle of consent under the Good Friday Agreement. In the immediate aftermath of the Northern elections, it is clear a majority of MLAs support the protocol. We now need to see an early resumption of the executive so as to ensure an efficient application of the protocol's principles, and we need to assure this. Ultimately, any call for reopening of negotiations around the protocol are unrealistic. Ireland continues to work with EU partners and institutions and with all stakeholders on the island to work through the withdrawal agreement and the protocol itself. Regarding the legacy bill issues, it is disappointing to see the UK government introduce legislation and press ahead despite the clear misgivings across all stakeholder groups. Government parties have been speaking with victims' groups to hear their views, and the message from these groups, affected by decades of state-sponsored violence, is clear. There are fundamental concerns in relation to the powers of the Commission, for example, also, and the status of the reviews proposed in the bill. Last week we marked the 48th anniversary of the Dublin Monaghan bombings, a reminder of justice not served to all those families affected. Corm fáilte freisin ribh an bille teanga a bhí curtha síos Westminster Nuv. Bhí sé díomach le feiceáil go dtí seo go raibh cosc cur chun cinn an bille seo is Stormont, ach inis mar a bhí leagadh síos ina rád an boundarín an teachtain Secata tá rialtas na Breataine féin chun an dlí seo a bog ar aghaidh agus comhróidh sé seo le fás agus meas don Gaeilge sa túisceart. Tá sé fíorthachtaach go mbeadh an cearta sin ag daoine sa túisceart ó thaobh a féinúlachas féin a léarús ina sócaí féin. Tá súla gom go gabhróidh rialtas na Breataine leis an mille seo a chur aghaidh comhlú agus gur féidir. In relation to Northern Ireland, Fianna Fáil's priority is and always has been the protection of the Good Friday Agreement and its institutions. As a member of government, we need to support all parties in the North and work collaboratively with our British counterparts to ensure we have a functioning executive. Well, that's the way it's supposed to work anyway. Alas, instead we see the UK government acting unilaterally to introduce legislation that moves us away from this collaborative approach and away from the processes agreed under the Stormont House Agreement. It is my view and the view of the Fianna Fáil party that it is not in keeping with the spirit or the motivations of the Good Friday Agreement. It is imperative that the Northern Ireland Assembly is convened without delay. It's a sad reflection on any society when certain parties are intent on ignoring the democratic will of their citizens and bent on institutionalising this political limbo and paralysis that we experience at present. The rationale behind the Good Friday Agreement and the entire peace process was built on both governments working together collaboratively with all parties in the North. Boris Johnson and Liz Truss's government is diverging from this approach, as is evidenced in the legacy proposals, and now in terms of its attempt to roll back on the protocol and disregard international legally binding agreements. The role of the United States must also be acknowledged here, and we met with a number of public representatives here yesterday. They remain steadfast in their support for Ireland and respecting the Good Friday Agreement and ensuring the implementation of the protocol proceeds. Go magat.